what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope y'all are having a great evening as we're wrapping up our Thursday and get on through a work week, almost to the weekend, guys. So that's the good news. So there's not a whole lot to talk about. Thank y'all for joining in, and I appreciate people who've consistently watched, even though the weather has not been really anything too crazy, honestly, for the last month and a half or so, and maybe longer. I've kind of lost track. It's just been really slow weather-wise, but one thing I will tell you is I'll say it 100 times. I'm very excited about the winter. Things are going to pick up. It's inevitable, and we're going to bring some more people into here, and the growth is coming. So thank y'all for the amazing support, even in the kind of the slowish times. Continue to comment. I'll continue to reply, and definitely see what y'all got to say. If y'all got any questions, put it in the comments, because it's slow right now, so I have a little bit more time to get a little bit more detailed in my responses and things like that. So when it gets really busy, it's hard to get super detailed with every comment, but I try to do that, because to me, I would want somebody to acknowledge my comment. So if I just give you a like, give you a heart, and and you wish I would do a little bit more, I'm going to try to work on that for you guys. But anyways, thanks for stopping by, listening to this video. Really, and what we're going to talk about here is what's ongoing right now. There's actually blizzard warnings up for portions of South Dakota, even a very small area of Minnesota. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to continue to kind of break down what's going on as far as the pattern for the eastern U.S. as a whole going forward, kind of take a peek at our weekend weather, and really just break down what there is to talk about. So if you guys have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I'm also a storm chaser, and that's another thing. I'm really looking forward to getting out there, maybe chasing a blizzard. Never experienced one. Major snowstorm. I would love to get up there to the Northeast if we can get a big time nor'easter, and love to visit Boston or New York City. And I'm hoping to do stuff like that, come winter time. So thank you all for the amazing support, and let's get going here. So right now there is blizzard warnings up. Very hard to see, I'm sure, but for basically the northeast corner of South Dakota, kind of covering the National Weather Service area of Abilene. Hopefully I said that right. And blizzard warnings for about 2 to 6 inches of snow. The snow accumulations aren't that extreme at all. But when you got blizzard warning criterias, and here's basically the area right here. If I get my cursor up, this is kind of the area, the very small area where there potentially could be blizzard conditions. As I move this out the way, and hopefully it'll get moving for us here in a second. But this is basically where the blizzard condition could happen here, and this is where the snow's falling right here, especially areas just east of Abilene. And let me see if I can, okay, there she goes. She's moving now. So this is not a huge winter storm. It's not a huge snow event, really. These areas aren't going to see a whole lot of snow. It's not super cold out there right now. It's only early November. Snow's falling at relatively, warm temperatures, even though snow doesn't fall at warm temperatures, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Basically what I'm saying is snow falling in the 30s, the upper 20s, usually out here in this area. When you get in January or February, you have snow falling in the teens or lower. But even in Minneapolis, you have reports of some snow, a little bit of snow signal right here. That little snowflake means somebody's reporting snow around Minneapolis. So you guys over there will see a little bit of snow, but I don't think y'all see any more than maybe a dusting to an inch. I don't even think you guys have a winter weather advisory out for you guys right now. But it's very interesting to see the blue stuff, even when it's way up north. Just to let you know that winter is coming. All these purple areas, these are winter weather advisories. This pink area is up here near International Falls, Minnesota. That is winter storm warning. So winter's dropping down to the lower 48 from Canada. It's a pretty big system here. And what you have here is you have these isobars right here that are really tight to each other. What happens when that happens is basically you get high winds. And when you basically have low pressure riding really very close to high pressure, it creates basically a big time wind gradient and basically causes a lot of strong winds at the surface. So that's what's happening here. And here it is. Here's our low pressure cranking up, kind of spinning down into Minnesota. This will continue as we get into the overnight hours. This is around 2 a.m. to bring widespread, pretty much light snow, maybe as far south as you folks in Iowa overnight, but I really don't think it'll be as widespread for you guys. But this will continue to pivot down. Meanwhile, on the backside of this low pressure is when you're going to have the heavy, I keep wanting to say heavy. I hate when I say heavy winds. I mean to say strong winds. I want to say heavy snow or heavy rain, I guess. But Basically, this is the warm side of the storm for now. But when you see these isobars that are really close together, that signifies strong winds at the surface. And along where this light snow is falling, you're going to have gusty winds, even in areas where you don't have blizzard warnings. Blizzard warnings is basically when you have winds in excess of 35 miles per hour, sustained for 3 hours, or frequent gusts of 35 miles per hour, and with visibility as low as a quarter mile. And so, and the criteria has to be for 3 hours. So, a lot of times that doesn't, it takes those kind of conditions to pull a blizzard warning, even when there's not even a whole lot of snow falling in this case. But this will continue to pivot down. So, make its way into Wisconsin, some flakes, and maybe try to get some flakes down to Chicago. We'll see. But strong winds will continue to crank up on the backside of this low. And you'll really see this here as a good example as we got 10 millimeter wind speeds. These are registered at knots here on Tropical Tidbits. But moving forward here, let's see if we can get this going here. Moving forward here, you see these areas in the green. That is basically winds at 20 to 30 knots, even higher, which is around 35, 45 miles per hour. And it really gets amplified overnight in this area where you're getting about 30 to 40 knot winds. You're going to basically have wind gusts as far as miles per hour, potentially gusting above 55 miles per hour. I mean, that's tropical storm force winds, but with snow. So this will continue to set up a big time wind field over here on the backside of this low pressure as the gradient tightens and the isobars get really close together. So winds will be coming out the northwest, and a lot of snow flying around, but not a lot of heavy accumulation. This will continue to work its way here, and strong winds will really start to get down to more of the Midwest and the southern areas right in here. But as far as snowfall accumulations, as far as 18 hours out, you see there's not huge totals. You got these winter storm warnings way up here because you can potentially get, they've already had accumulating snow, so you can get a little bit more snow into the coming hours, maybe over a half a foot of snow up here. And you look in the areas where they're talking about blizzards, you got this little bit of a bullseye where you get 3 to 4 to 5 inches of snow right here in northwest South Dakota. So it'll be interesting to see how much snow these folks get out here. But going forward here, we'll get that system out the way. As we get into Friday evening, some of these flakes, some snow might sneak its way into maybe the northern areas of the Ohio Valley, maybe definitely even into Michigan. This will kick the lake effect snow bands off on Lake Michigan a little bit, even Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. This will move in, and then we thought we've kind of lost this system, but and we still don't quite know what it's going to do because we're not really into a good range of the short range models. But as we get into Saturday into Sunday morning, another kind of shortwave moves in here, almost a clipper type system with a little bit more cold air in, and could bring a shot at some snow for Chicago as we get into Sunday morning. We'll continue to watch this. Where this low pressure tracks obviously means where the precipitation is going to set up, where the coldest areas from north to south is going to be. This kind of has it dipping down and kind of going back up. That means probably more snow, more so in Canada. But this will move through basically some cold air will wrap behind this, and basically we'll kick the snow bands off a little bit off the lakes, and that's about it. And then getting into next week, not a whole lot to talk about as far as temperatures for the weekend. We get into Friday. For you folks in the southeast, areas of the deep south and the extreme areas of the southeast, another nice day. The cold front's going to start to basically shove dry air basically into these regions. So a good day tomorrow. It's going to feel nice. It's going to warm up. And then the cold front moves in for just about everybody overnight. Maybe still a very nice day for areas of Florida and Texas. But basically where this trough is really digging right here to the deep south, it's going to be downright chilly Saturday for a lot of folks, even in the south and mid-south. The Ohio Valley is going to be sitting in the 30s and 40s. This is the definition of football weather, really. This is downright cold. So it's going to be some chilly games, especially for you folks in the Big Ten and the MAC conferences. Even areas in the southeast, I know my Gamecocks play Missouri at 4 p.m., in Columbia, Missouri, the other Columbia. And I keep telling, I keep acting like they hear me or something, but I keep telling them folks in the athletics department, football, that make sure y'all ready for the cold weather because my Gamecocks do not like the cold weather. But going forward here, Saturday, it just depends on where you are. If you're Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, points north, nice weather. But if you're kind of in the Carolinas, it's going to be a battlefield. Atlanta, I think, is going to remain pretty cold Saturday. Going into Sunday, I think the cold front moves through for everybody, and it's going to be a downright typical November fall-like day with temperatures in the 50s and 60s across the southeast, and even colder, the 40s and 30s in the Ohio Valley, and a chilly day across the northeast for sure. But going forward here, another reinforcing shot of cold air moves in, and maybe some areas will start to potentially see some frost and freezes that haven't quite seen it yet. But we'll watch what happens here. Very cold morning for Tuesday morning across most of the mid-Atlantic and northeast, and pretty chilly across the southeast. But nothing too crazy for this time of the year. Next week, a couple of cool mornings, but then we warm right back up, kind of like what this week has done. And maybe another cold front sets up at the end of next week. We'll have to watch that. That is still a question mark as far as how strong and weak it's going to be. As far as precipitations and big storms, getting past these couple, basically systems over this weekend to early next week. After that, all the way until about late next week, that potentially there could be a system with this next cold front. I don't see anything crazy to talk about at all right now. I really don't. Nothing's really close as far as a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, 17th through the 21st, getting closer to Thanksgiving. Around near normal temperatures, maybe slightly above average temperatures, but nothing too crazy. It really isn't. So not a whole lot to talk about. The weather remains pretty boring, but maybe some snow for you folks, even as far south as Chicago, maybe Detroit. But we'll continue to watch this. But thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching, even when it's slow. Appreciate y'all's support. I really do. And I'm really, really getting antsy for things to pick back up again because, it's fun watching the growth for something that you've created and obviously you got a passion for. So thank y'all for the amazing support. I'll let y'all go. Y'all have a great night, and I'll try to get with you guys tomorrow. It gets kind of weird on Fridays, but God bless all y'all.